Ooh. Hi guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. How are you all doing? Is my mic on? Yeah. How are you all doing? All right, so Blessing CEO came out to seemingly defend you, Edochie. And my reaction is, so I say your office is very busy. You are very busy. Hey, we are extremely busy. Extremely busy. I know they even get time rest. We just they walk, they walk, they walk, they walk. But I thank God. There are some people who have not made more naira this January. I thank God for not counting me among them. Hmm? So I'm going to open up my phone lines for people. I'm not gonna stay long at all today because I'm kind of tired. It's not easy to do name change. Me, I divorced 2005. I could not change my name until last year. Who remembers Tina Turner? She just passed away, I think, this year or last year. Um, she couldn't change, she didn't want to change her name because of the brand. She was married to Ike Turner. After the divorce, she still maintained the name, even though it was her husband's name. So you see, the dynamics of changing name is not as straightforward as you might want it to be. The husband took her to court and she won the case. He asked her to drop his name. She said, "Lie, lie." Say, "Na her brand." May her soul rest in peace. Remember her song, "Simply the Best." The name name be her brand. And because May Yule Doche is quite big on social media, she can also claim the name branding. And I think that's a valid claim. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. What do you guys think? Like this particular topic, I'm not going to contribute much. I'm just going to keep it open for you guys to contribute. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. Double click the screen. Double click the screen. Pop my money guns if you're watching on TikTok. You know how to double click the screen? Let me show you how to double click the screen. Hold your phone in your hand and tap away like this. If you're watching on TikTok, just tap away. Can you see my fingers are on fire as I'm tapping away? Just watch this. You see my fingers are lighting up. Yes, until your fingers light up. You've not really started doing it yet. Double click the screen. Double click. Double tap. Double tap. Double tap. Tap the screen. Tap away. Yeah, like that. Like that. If your finger never begin pain, you never do well. It brings more people to the live. So my take is May Yul Edochie has built a brand around that name. You can't tell her to give it up unless she wants to give it up. Taste Buds was very quick to give up what is it called? Name. You understand? I went back to her father's name because she did not want to be associated in any way with a certain level of. I will not use my mouth to say so people will not start to cry this night. But if you want to, I don't see anything wrong. But that's my take. What is yours? Let me quickly pop some people onto the live. I had a lot of women. I've had so many women now. Maybe I want to hear from the men. I want to hear from the men. I want to hear from the men. Men, send me requests too. I'm sure this is a lady. Hello, madam.
I've never been on live before, Daddy Prince.
You've never been on live before?
No.
All right, so share your opinion. Let's hear you. Want to hear you.
Oh my God. Okay. Hi, good evening. I'm from New York.
Good evening.
And
what's your name?
Chioma.
Chioma, all the way from New York. Everybody make some noise for Chioma, baby. Yes, that's it. That's it. That's it. All right, go ahead.
I don't know what to say. This is a very dicey situation.
What part of Nigeria are you from?
Igbo. I'm from Anambra.
Oh, Anambra. Now, where you come from, are women mandated to give up their husband's name? Should they proceed on a divorce? Or should they file for a divorce?
I didn't change my name to my husband's name, so that's different.
Why didn't you change your name? Explain to us.
Nothing. I didn't see any importance. Like it didn't make any difference. So my name is still my name.
But what if your husband has insisted? Because me, I will insist you change your name.
It was never an issue.
Why was it never an issue? Did you marry a white man?
No.
Did you marry Igbo?
Yeah.
From where?
Anambra.
But you grew up abroad?
Actually,
Igbo man go no go gree me lie. Any other tribe fi manage am, no be Igbo man.
I know, but it's a very very dicey situation. So it's up to her. No, like I said, it's very dicey. So like me, I didn't change my name. My name is still my name. So nothing changed. So about her is her brand. So if she want to change it, that's on her. If she doesn't want to change it because she has already built a brand with that name, so she can keep it. So I don't know. But that's my honest opinion.
All right, thank you for sharing your opinion. We've got another lady here. Hi, how are you doing? There are no... Mute your mic, Chioma.
Okay.
Or since you finished talking, you can exit so I can bring somebody else so you can attend to your beautiful babies. All right, my darling sister that just joined, go ahead.
Sorry, hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Hi, my name is Chisom.
Chisom.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I have just something to add regarding what Blessing CEO said. She said May should remove the Edochie. Where I come from, Anambra, normally when a divorce happens, or let's just say May is still in the process of divorcing, right? Yeah. But when it happens and you already have the man's last name, like you can still keep it on. Like it's not necessary, it's not compulsory that you have to remove the last name. So, yeah. And besides, she's been with this last name for a long time. So it's hard, like, to remove the last name from all her certificates.
Do you realize that almost
she's been
all
verified
men,
on IG.
Do you realize that almost all men would catch cruise with you if you are still answering their surname?
Well, if you ask me, it's not, she doesn't have to remove the last name. She can remove you, right? But she can still bear the Edochie. Like May Edochie. She has children for the man, right?
Yes, but I understand. You see, she doesn't have to give up the name. But my problem is, why would she want to keep it? I'm just trying to figure that out. I understand that, yes, it's her brand. I understand that, yes, it has become her identity. But if now me inside this kind of matter, whether they troll me, I would not want to have anything to do with that name. My thought, I may be wrong. There's no pressure. What do you think? If somebody is trolling you, leave my name, leave my name, leave my name.
Well, we don't have to decide for her if she has to leave the name.
You see, the moment somebody brings their matter to the public, you have asked us to decide for you. You understand what I'm telling you? So that's why I tell people, don't bring your matter to the public. Because if you bring your matter to the public, they will judge you. The public
but May, she never brought.
But you
May
did.
never brought
You
to the
did. You
public.
said drop my name. So it's there in the public. And Blessing CEO has judged the matter. She has put mouth. So
people think it's so easy to remove the last name, but it is so hard to remove that last name from
it actually is
everything
very easy
about
for a
her.
married woman. All you need to do is get a go to court with your divorce papers. Or if you just want to change your name, there are ways to change your name.
The freeze, it's hard.
Okay, let's hear from a man. Let's hear from a man.
I mean, for taking a man's last name is a show of unity in a marriage. I've seen Nigerians that will marry Nigerians and even change their names. And now in a situation whereby you have a situation like this, divorce, it's not that hard. Once you have a dissolution order, you can make a publication in the tabloids, newspaper, anyone local to you. And the other documents will still be, regarded as valid. But now you wish to now be, addressed as this going forward. That's basically what it is. It's not anything that serious. But I understand because, like you mentioned in the situation of Tina Turner, there are certain names that you would have, done too much with it that by the time you want to change it, it's gonna, it's gonna turn a lot of things around. So you might as well keep it. And in times past, people have, gone to court over names and all that. It does happen that they will win because whatever made me took your name in the first instance, we may probably have defeated the purpose, maybe by virtue of divorce, death, and all that stuff. But I can still keep it because I've used it on valid documents. For instance, let's say a woman takes a name and now has a new international passport for 10 years. If they divorce in between the expiration of that valid document, there's nothing she can do. She still has to use it till it expires. And in between that time, if she comes forth to say, okay, look, in between the time I had this travel documents, I've been divorced and this is my dissolution order. With the publication in the tabloids, newspaper, as the case may be, I want to change it. It will still be acceptable, and records will show that the person at one time or the other been bearing this name. It's as simple as that.
Now, let me ask. Oh, the lady is gone. I wanted to ask her what her thoughts are. Now, I want to be as careful as possible so as not to be seen as one-sided. I'm just going to umpire the conversation. That's all I'm going to be doing today. So I go just they judge the matter small by small in such a way that while I no go there. All right, we've got Prissy here. Prissy, hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Daddy Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, my darling sister. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I've been listening to what you guys are saying about the change of name. Personally, my opinion is it's individual differences. Like my brother said, there might be reasons why she keeps the name. And one of the reasons is if you have kids for the man, you might be divorced. Personally, for me, I'm divorced, but I still have my ex name in my documents. So it's not easy for me to just go change back into my father's name.
What if you want to remarry?
Yeah, so that's what I'm waiting for. So when I want to remarry, I change to my husband's name. Rather than changing back to my father's name, and then when I want to now remarry, I'll have to change again. So me now getting some stuff here, but in my ex's name, though I'm still bearing that name. So for me to change again, my documents and everything, my passport has his name, which have been, is valid for another more 5 years. So I can't change it currently. So I don't even want to change it until I get remarried, so that I don't have to have multiple documents bearing different names that will,
So look at this.
Let me ask
Look
you,
at
why
this.
did you get divorced? Proceed.
Do I want to say that online? Okay, Daddy, please. Okay.
I've said my own reason.
Okay. Personally, for mine, actually, my parents had to go return the bride price they paid on my head back to the family.
Why?
Why? Because I got married when I was quite young. Yeah, I was barely 20 when I got married, and I was living in Delta. But he, on his end, was living in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
And refused for us to come together as partners for his own personal reasons. On many occasions, I had even gone ahead to I don't see any reasons why you keep me in Delta and you are in River State. I want us to be together. I want us to raise family together. I have my 3 children. I drove myself personally to the hospital. Who wants to go purchase meat and fish in the market? I drive myself in my labor, and I was already in labor, driving myself to the hospital, putting to bed and bring my baby back home. Most of the things I did by myself. My children actually practically they are not even used to their father.
He lives in Nigeria.
Yes.
That's strange. I mean, I'm sorry. I just find it strange, though, because
it's strange, but
they
that's
can like something sometimes.
If I want to tell you one of my stories, right? One of them is it happened that he lived and was working himself. It's this kind of relationship where it was more like autocratic leadership, where he dictates, I follow. Being that I was young and girl, I didn't know what to do. I was lamenting inside. Why? Because I couldn't speak up. He believes that, he has this ancient mother pattern where the man can do whatever he wants and the woman is just there as a figure. Whatever he tells you, push you this way, you have to go. Push you this way, you have to go. On one occasion, I was like, no, I have to. I want to travel and let me go surprise him. Birthday, it was Valentine's Day. And I'm okay, let me go travel to Port Harcourt to go see him. I traveled to Port Harcourt. Then Port Harcourt road was very bad. This Choba area. So I spent hours on the road to get to Port Harcourt. I got to Port Harcourt at 11 p.m. And guess what, DF? I was pregnant. Almost 8 months and a week pregnant. I got to Port Harcourt. What did I end up? I ended up surprising myself. I actually bought gifts, birthday gifts. I bought T-shirts. I bought jeans.
You surprised yourself. How did you surprise yourself?
I ended up surprising myself because I got there to start watching Blue Film with my own eyes.
Hey,
I was gonna say.
Just say Moju.
DF, I actually watched Blue Film. When he got to the door, I knocked. I wasn't getting any response. And it wasn't expecting me because it was actually supposed to be a surprise. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, but I hear noise in the apartment. So, and I went to the window, curtain, how Nigerian curtains are now, you could actually view through a peep, get a peep through the window, which I did. And I ended up watching Life blue film.
Hey, life mojo. No say blue because of.
When I knock, I'm like, what? Like, I go trying to like still hold myself down, and then I knocked on the door. Quickly tied up something. I came to open the door, and I walked in and I saw the lady on the bed. I'm like, okay,
What is going
what's going on? And then he says it's not what I think. So while he was still trying to like calm me down, like, hey, calm down, it's not what you think. Let me explain. So I was not like, okay. And the lady put him out like, oh, madam, it's not what you think. You just have to calm down. At that point, because first I gave her the respect by not even not recognizing her presence there, because I believe it's the man's fault if he has a woman in the house. The woman didn't walk up there. He's the one that went after her. So I should talk to him, not her. But where she bought my market was where she put her mouth in the conversation I was having with my ex then. So immediately when she spoke, I was like, I just landed her a hot slap. And I was already pissed, like, you bought my market. But doing that now gave room for him to like, what are you doing? You don't have to do that. And then he dragged me outside and was just trying to like, before I know it, he started giving me heavy slap. Like, why should I come? In the first place, why did I come unannounced? In the first place, this. In the first place, that. At that point, dear, he was like, they poured me cold water. Like, I just looked, are you serious?
And where
like,
was this guy working?
He was up in a Shell.
Oh, oil company, you said. Oh, wow. They're enjoying you on TikTok. They are double clicking the screen. Pop the money gun. We've got our first money gun up in the building. Big shout out to our very first money gun pop. Continue your story.
So basically, I was like, I was really, I was speechless. So that moment, it was really, I can't explain how I felt. So I just bent down, picked up my bag, I had flat slippers on because I was heavily pregnant. So I just picked up my stuff. I just started walking away. And as at this time we're talking about, it was almost like midnight. And guess what, DF? I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't know nobody in Port Harcourt.
And he allowed you to go like that with his pregnancy?
He allowed me to go. He didn't even say, okay, let me even chase after her to bring back my pregnant wife. I'm like, I kept walking, and then if you know Port Harcourt, Rumumasi, I'm not forgetting that because the thing is still in my head. That happened in Rumumasi. And there was this hotel around the Rumumasi then. What was it called? They said bread. They said this one popular bread.
Do you mind if I quickly interject? Did you remarry afterwards?
I'm not.
How long ago has this been?
No, let her finish. We're enjoying the story, bruv. Don't kill the story, bruv. She's telling us what now happened.
Seriously.
Please.
So, do you know I ended up sleeping on the floor in Port Harcourt, on the road?
No way.
Yeah. I actually slept by a chemist store that was already closed because it was dark. So there's a table. I don't know what the table was for. Maybe like all those people that shade, like that display stuff in front of their stores. So I bent the table. I fell the table like back in so that I can hide inside. That was where I stayed. I lay on the floor till morning.
Hey, Timomo.
It was in the morning. I had to gather the little change I had in my pocket. I had to gather change. They count money like market woman. I had to gather my change and then boarded the next Agofure. That time it was Agofure bus transportation that was popular. I had to board the next bus back to Delta. He didn't make any move to look for me. It was later. Sometimes African men, I'm sorry to say, sometimes it gets in, I don't know the kind of relationship they think marriage is. Like it's a boss and a housemaid relationship, which is not supposed to be so. You get married to someone, the person is supposed to be your partner. The person is supposed to be your bestie, your best friend. But in this kind of relationship where you are at the top. You decide. You tell the woman you don't have no say. Like even down to man and woman relationship in bed. You are the one to be in control. It doesn't happen that way. Most of our men. That is one of the reasons that affect the relationships in Nigeria. Yeah.
So
because
did
they
you
tell you,
eventually get a
I can't do.
divorce?
Sorry?
So you eventually went on and got a divorce. Oh, my man, just did this like.
Yes, I did. Okay. Okay. So while that was going on, my church, they were
Tunde
telling me,
Smith, pop those money guns. Yeah, you're saying your church did what?
yes, my church. Then I will go cry to my pastor. I will tell me, married and divorce is a sin. I don't have to divorce and da. And I'll be like, Pastor, I'm young. I got in the picture, the way I picture marriage. My dad and my mom are still together. The way I pictured the kind of marriage I want to have, the kind of union I want to be in, it's not what I'm experiencing. My mom, I see my dad, they wake up together, my mom cooking for my dad, everybody, children eating together. That is the kind of marriage I foresaw for myself. Like, that's what I want. But that wasn't what I got. So the whole thing kept eating me up that I'll go to church, they'll be preaching to me. Then my parents, on their own end, my dad is late now. Blessed memories. I lost my dad like 3 years. Thank you. I lost him like 3 years ago. Before my dad died, my dad would be like, what will the word say? What will the church say? Their own church, This is a church that, my mom was like, women leader kind of thing. My dad, all of them being in church. And they were looking at what the church would say as to my own happiness. The guy comes before the divorce even happened. Right? He comes on a Saturday sometimes and goes back Sunday afternoon. The Saturday he comes sometimes is like midnight. And that's the union I have, all true. The days he will manage to come on Friday, he will travel with his friend to Asaba. They will go spend time in Asaba and then come back on Saturday evening. And on Sunday,
Smith, popping my money guns. I'm listening. Go ahead.
He will check out.
Just appreciating
he will check out to Port Harcourt. That's how it was till my dad was like, no, you don't have to divorce. If you divorce, I'll disown you. It got to a time that at the time where I gave up actually. Yes, I actually gave up. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just start living my life. Like, I'm under the umbrella like I'm married, but the true picture is I wasn't married because there wasn't any union going on. There was nothing.
So at that point, did you have relationships? Did you have relationships with other men?
Okay, as at the time, truthfully saying, I don't know if he will follow me there. Truthfully saying, at that time, I got to the peak of it. At the beginning part of it, I hated men actually because of what happened. I disliked men. Like, I really disliked men. Like, if they come talking to me, I see them as unserious people. Until I am now like, okay, I opened up to someone that actually, the guy stalked me for some time. And at some point, to be frank, he gave me joy because he was always talking. We're always talking on the phone. Like, I had somebody to chat with, like, look like friend, real friend, which that part I missed because he wasn't present. So
did you eventually do fakafiki with this other guy that kept you company?
Yes, now. Is there anything that you see on the phone?
No, say it. We want to hear. We want to know. So that the story can be sweet.
Oh my God. Okay, to be frank, I won't even I don't think it's any way. It's yes, I did. I had a relationship after wasn't up to 3 years. It was 2 years and some months. Because why? I just had my last baby. before the incident, before the whole divorce thing, you know. So at that point, I was at that phase where I was still like, man, they are serious people. They are this, they are that, they are cheats. You know, a whole bunch was running through my mind until the guy was like talking to me. I was like, all men are not the same, blah, blah, blah. So he was always checking up on me. As a matter of fact, my kids actually now became even close to him. Hello, Daddy Prince.
I'm listening. Go ahead. Your kids became close to him.
Yeah, so he actually got close to my kids, and that actually drew me close to him. So yes, I had a relationship with him at that point, because at that point I already told my parents I'm no longer doing this. But if you guys chose your what's it called?
Son-in-law.
You chose your relationship in the church, your position and the public image over my own happiness, then so be it. So after a while, I lost communication. I actually didn't even talk to him anymore because he stayed back in Port Harcourt for a long while. From nowhere again, he popped in. I was like, he wants to come back. Everything sounded so strange.
That's your husband?
So, my ex.
Yes, your ex-husband, yeah.
Yeah, so everything sounded so strange. So I insisted that before anything goes on between the two of us, before we come back together, that he has to go for a test. Because, can you hear me, dear?
I can hear you.
Yes, sure we can.
So he went for the test. Yes. Tell us what now happened. What was the test?
Oh, yes. Okay. So medically, he wasn't okay after the result, because then I was already working with an. Jesus Christ, Daddy Freeze. Daddy Freeze. Don't start this. Please.
No. I just want to ask. Then we move on. That's all. I'm asking now.
Daddy Freeze. I'm sorry, I can't say that far. But the thing is, I was already working with an international organization here in the US that we were into a whole lot of medical line, like treatment and care for patients and OIs. That's opportunistic infections and everything. So
for people that have infection, I get it.
Yeah, so there were a whole lot. I was actually anchoring even Delta, Enugu. So there were a whole bunch I was into. So I had to insist. I insisted that before we can come back together, you must have to do this test. He refused. I was like, it's not going to do nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, if you don't want, then marriage ended. So he reluctantly went and refused to pay. I did it. I said, don't worry, I will pay. We went and we did test, did for everybody. Lo and behold, we were not on the same page anymore. So I told him, I said, I can't continue. I'm sorry. Because if it was something that, okay, he was there all along. To be frank with you, there are some circumstances that I could have even like, if the love was, if the bond was there. If he uphold the bond, there are certain situations where I could understand that, okay, after all, you were there when all along. But it wasn't so. There was already gap. There was a very, very huge gap there that I couldn't continue with. So I told him, I'm sorry, I have to leave. So, but then after like few months when my parents now knew, only them can't use their hand, can't return the bride price. Say, sorry, my bad. Let me plug my phone real quick. Only them now return the bride price. Say, our pikin don't try. Say, we want to hold the family onto that home. They're not supposed to divorce and blah 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 blah. But I tried this situation. I don't even think they ever return the bride price anymore. So I just left them. I said, I'm going to take. Let go to take control and take, because I gave up.
Network is very bad.
It was indeed.
Hey.
A long story.
Story.
I know there's a bunch of people that's trying to come in. But I joined earlier when you were talking about.
Yeah. So let's go back to our original topic. I'm so sorry. Her story sounded a bit interesting, and I enjoyed every part of it, and we learned. So go ahead.
Okay, so I was when you called it earlier, I was on when you were talking about bigamy and some other elements to it and divorce
Are
in
you a
general.
lawyer?
And yes, I am.
Oh, thank God, a male lawyer at last.
And yeah, because I was sending a request, but you didn't. Pick me at that time, which I understand. So, well, to be honest, bigamy is a crime, but it's only the state that can, prosecute such, just like every other crime. So the lady cannot. The best she can do right now, if she can prove that the marriage is broken down irretrievably, because there's so many other elements that needs to be proven to obtain a dissolution order when you have a petition for dissolution. Now, I was gonna clear some parts out. The two other lawyers, they did mention it, but there was a little bit of not too clear information out there. We're talking about Section 370 of the Criminal Code. That's the one that deals with. Of course, we are going to restrict ourselves to criminal code because this happened in south west and southeast. So I might be careful. Move out of here. You're bothering me. Move out of here. So now that is clearly stated that once a man gets married to another person, however, it could be a ceremony. There's no other court that's gonna join them together as a man and wife in any situation. But whatever it is that makes the man takes another woman while a marriage is subsisting, it's a crime and known as bigamy, and is punishable up to 7 years imprisonment.
7 years?
Yes, please.
Wow.
And
wow.
The Marriage Act also says that it can be it's a form of felony, and that can even attract up to 5 years imprisonment. That's what the Marriage Act says. Because you see, the Criminal Act actually forbade it, which is, and any other kind of crime comes under the Criminal Act or the Penal Code, as the case may be. But here we're restricting ourselves to the Criminal Act. Now, I think in the whole situation going on with Yul and Rita, I don't think name is really of essence right now, talking about who is keeping whose name. Because, for instance, I can choose to say, look, I like the name Daddy Freeze. It doesn't matter whether I know him or we have any connection or you've made a name for yourself. I just want to be referred to as Daddy Freeze. Tomorrow, I will go address the proper authority. For instance, in America, you want to go to the Social Security office and say, I wish to be known or referred to as Daddy Freeze going forward. But all the documents from the past still remains valid. And you make your regular publication. In such situation, if you probably are in government, you may have to depose to affidavits, which is, written document on, oath. Now, if Richard wants to keep his name, it shouldn't be an issue. His name is actually not his name because there are Edochies. Is you, I've been Edochie. And she said, listen, the Yule has a meaning to her. It's still valid. It shouldn't be an issue. Well,
so
I want to talk
she
about
can actually
tradition.
keep his name.
Absolutely. Without she does not have to do any extra thing to say, oh, he cannot harass her. If we're talking about harassment, if you're talking about verbal harassment, I know certain things don't really hold in Nigeria. But for instance, here in America, I can obtain a PFA order against you. If, for instance, you are, closing me up, you are harassing me, sending me all manner of text, there's verbal abuses and all that around here. And in Nigeria, which I believe, at some point in time, she can also get, some kind of order, restraining order against him. But she does not have to drop his name. Really, if she's saying his name, who says it's his name? Because these are the things we're going to be asking. I know they got married together. She had a previous last name. By virtue of the marriage, then she took his name. Now she has built some things for herself on this name. And if she decides to drop the name, it might even be a misrepresentation of facts. For instance, if she's in the branding thingy, like people that gives ambassadorial to people, what do you call it? What's that thing these musicians get?
Endorsement.
Franchise, all that stuff. Now she wants to be going back from being, say, Rita Edochie now to say Rita Kasim. That's absolutely that's gonna really wreak a lot of havoc on our image, our person. So we shouldn't worry about the name now. What we should be looking at is divorce proper, which I believe, and the lady earlier too was talking about evidence as to show if she can prove the marriage is broken down. Cohabitation is. He started living with another woman. I don't know their living condition, but I believe we see you more with the other lady. I don't remember her name, but I see them on Instagram every now and then. So she can easily prove that the marriage is broken down. Like abandonment is not ready yet because that one takes a while. And also they mentioned something about other nights earlier. I took a note, but I'm trying to put it together. Well, in a petition for dissolution of marriage, the courts will grant orders depending on the age of the marriage. When the marriage is below 2 years, for instance, the court is not quick to grant a dissolution order. They will look at the circumstance, the facts around the case, in proving whether the marriage is broken down irretrievably. They would issue a nice-side order. A nice-side order is like a temporary. It's like an embryo order. It matures over a period of time. And once the parties don't come back to the court to say, oh, look, we're trying to make up, we're not trying to carry on with the petition for dissolution, after 6 months period, somebody said 3 months earlier, which is not correct. After 6 month period, it naturally matures into an absolute dissolution order, and the marriage is dissolved going forward. Then whatever ingredient that comes underneath it, custody, deliberating on who goes with family property and all of that stuff, then we'll begin to look into that. So that's my little piece, and this is all I have to say, sir. Let me go, and I'll be watching.
Thank you so much for your time, and God bless you, Barrister. You threw a lot of light on this, and a lot of people who have issues with clarity now understand exactly what is going on. Thank you so much. I think this is a perfect place to end. When you come to Daddy Freeze Live, you definitely learn something. I hope you learned something today. Daddy Freeze loves you. Take care. Someone says you have questions. Okay, let's take one question.
Okay.
Mary Jane. Oh yeah, one question. Just one question. Mary Jane, send a request. You didn't send a request. So how do I bring you up to ask your question? Okay, I'll just bring the first person on the request to ask the question.
Is this questions for me or for Daddy Freeze?
All right, go ahead, madam. Let's hear you.
Hello, Daddy Freeze.
Yes, hello. Go ahead.
She left.
She not get network.
I guess.
Anyway, you had questions, but nobody sent requests. Send requests. Send requests. I will not come and be typing your long name out one by one. You know what? We'll do question and answer session tomorrow. Thank you, Barrister. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
God bless everyone.
And you too.
See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.